Kilele, kilele, awo awo kilele, and then you're supposed to answer kilele, kilele, awo awo kilele.
Today we're in Aruba. For those of you who don't know where Aruba is, it's a small island just off the coast of Venezuela, about 50 kilometers or so. So close that some Arubans have actually swam from Venezuela over to Aruba, as we heard the story last night. For those of you who don't know where Venezuela is, it's beside Colombia. And for those of you who don't know where Colombia is, you should get out more. We found ourselves on this tiny island for about 3 weeks now, and it's been amazing. It's quite easy to explore. It's about 32 kilometers long and about 10 kilometers wide. We have a rental car, sort of bomb around, and everyone is ridiculously friendly. They actually dubbed themselves One Happy Island, and everywhere we went, someone's like, "Hey, need help with something? You want to get a picture of something? You want to go somewhere?" So it's been really good and like really friendly. Today we're in an Airbnb. We've been lucky to be hosted by a local who's been able to give us a lot of history about the place and a lot of background on everything. I'm going to do a little introduction. I can sometimes bang this off the top of my head, but the list is incredibly long. So I'm going to just read it off my notes so I don't miss anything, because I had to cut it down from probably 100 bullet points down to about 10 here, so we'll try and get them all in. So today, the lady we're speaking with is self-described as an Aruban by nature and a Canadian by nurture. She was born in Aruba and lived in Canada for over 3 decades. Learned to speak 4 languages as a kid, which has helped her get around the world. She was once a performing artist who did up to 300 shows a year on the road. At one point, she was invited to Kenya to perform in a problem-solving theater workshop, and then afterwards returned to Canada doing a fundraiser where she managed to raise enough funds to later build a health center there for people with AIDS that still stands today in Kisumu, Kenya. Once won the Aruba National Theater Award. Has since helped establish the Muchila Creative Foundation, an arts-based learning center for students with disabilities like Down syndrome and autism. It's the first of its kind in the Caribbean. And last but not least, and most recently presented as one of the 100 most accomplished Black women in Canada, introducing Emerita Emerencia. Did I get most of that correct?
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
I have no idea who she is.
That's a good introduction, I thought.
Yeah, excellent.
A lot of accolades, a lot of awards.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good life story.
My goodness.
So what I want to do is I want to ask you some questions about Aruba, because one of them, when we said we were going to Aruba, most people were like, "Oh, that's amazing, it sounds great. Where's Aruba?" And so I'm like, well, someone cares where it is, you find it in Venezuela or whatever. And most people don't know a lot about Aruba. I knew nothing, basically. I just saw that you could get here, it's warm, tickets were on sale. And so we ended up in Aruba, and we ended up in your lovely Airbnb. So give us a little bit of history about Aruba. First of all, I'd like to know, what is the language they speak here? I was under the assumption it was going to be Spanish, so I tried to blunder my way through the few words, and I got it wrong twice for sure. We ordered dinner one night, and we got dinner for 4, and I tried it again the next day, and we got dinner for 4 again, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I clearly don't know what the language is. What is the language here?
Well, yeah, good morning.
Good morning, yes, good morning. Thanks for having us.
Yes, well, you look very excited.
I am pretty excited. I'm pretty excited that we're here.
Okay, cool. Well, the language we speak in Aruba is called Papiamento. And it's a blend of different languages. Before the Europeans arrived, Aboriginal Indians live here. The ones that we know more about are the Arawak Indians, but there were others as well. And they were here for quite a while before the Spanish and the Portuguese and the Dutch arrived. And usually these boats, they were traders, there was a lot of trading going around in those days, from Europe to here and here to Europe. Depending which island it was, they would also get other stuff. Like in Bonaire, for instance, is known for its salt.
Yeah.
Because in those days, salt was like gold.
Yeah, I
so
can
there was
bet.
no electricity.
Yeah.
So Bonaire did very well. Aruba had nothing really until the oil refinery came, and there was an oil refinery because the crude oil was found in Maracaibo, Venezuela, and was shipped here with tankers. And then the Americans built one of the largest oil refinery in the Western Hemisphere.
Here?
Yeah, and there were maybe about not even 6,000 people, probably less, that lived here, and they needed 9,000 people to work in the refinery. So they recruited 9,000 people from all over the world, in the region, of course, first, the English Caribbean islands, South America, places like Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Central America,
everywhere.
and of course lots and lots of Americans, yeah, because it was an American oil refinery. And they established themselves in Sierra Colorado, which today would be called like a gated community.
Oh yeah.
There were gates and people in guards in uniform at the gates to let you in, and they lived the most idyllic lifestyle because it was next to Rogers Beach and Baby Beach, which are the most beautiful beaches to me in Aruba.
And very close.
And they're very close together, and they built their own schools, their own church, their own supermarkets, their own hospital, their own everything. There was a hospital there that was at least 5 stories high. It was like
Whoa.
a hotel overlooking the ocean.
Just for them?
I was born there.
Oh.
All the children of the employees were born there, and they got excellent care because they had medical staff that was really well trained from all over that came. They came and work here from other countries and islands and so on. So that's in brief the story. And eventually, of course, a lot of these Americans went back as children or as adults.
Yeah.
And some of them still come back to Aruba because they have fond memories about Aruba.
Yeah, I bet, as a kid, yeah.
I don't remember her name. I met an Oscar award-winning filmmaker, American, who told me at an international film festival here that very proudly that she was born in Aruba and she lived in Sierra Colorado. And, I said, oh, that's very nice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So people from all over the world, they came, they talked, they mixed, they mingled, they invented their own language, and here we are.
So to go back to Papiamento, the blend in there, you will find Arawak, Indian, African, Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, right? And even words in English, like, that were, and that's everywhere all over the world. Okay, no worry, which means don't worry. You will find English words in our language for sure.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And everybody speaks 4 or 5 languages here, and everybody intermingles.
Very impressive. So if you were born here, and then you moved away to Canada for longer than you've actually lived in Aruba, what was the draw to moving from a warm tropical island to the frigid north of Canada, which I know all too well?
Well, the first reason would have been I was bored. The kind of person I've become, it's a very small island. There's not a lot to do for young people at that point. So and every kid here dreams of when I'm 18, I'm leaving.
I bet.
I'm going to America to study, or I'm going to South America, or I'm going to Holland to study. Hardly anybody says I'm going to stay here. People that I know anyway. So of course that was my dream. So I finished high school here, and I went to teacher's college. I became a teacher, and I was still aching to get out. And lo and behold, I met a Canadian.
Oh, that happens.
Yes, on his second day on the island, because he had been in Curacao. And they told him there that you gotta go to Aruba, that's where the beautiful girls are at. So they jumped in their little Volkswagen, got on the ferry, and came here, and we met on the second day. And eventually I left with him to Canada.
Oh, wow.
And we were married, and we're together for 15 years. We're no longer together, but we're still really good friends. Which is and he comes to Aruba. It's like family. He comes to Aruba.
That's great. It comes back. So now that you're back in touch with your roots again, what's the best part about being Aruban?
Our ability to adapt, the language, especially. Also, because we were raised with so many cultures, we were very open to other cultures, and we adapt and adopt very quickly. And you probably notice it. You wouldn't know. I mean, people come here, and in no time they speak the language, or they get involved in the Aruban community, and they feel at home here.
We've been in your Airbnb for a week now, and we feel quite at home, actually. So we have friends here, so it's pretty good. That's nice. So then we'll segue over to the Airbnb. So we're in your Airbnb. It's lovely. I'm just actually going to pop this camera off and do just a quick yard scan of the backyard. But here's like the little lounge area we're sitting in. It's quite comfortable. And there's a little seating area back here and another little apartment and some greenery over here. You want to be in the shot or no? And then our Airbnb is just back in this little room over here. And there's a barbecue. It's quite lovely, actually.
Outdoor shower.
There's an outdoor shower tucked behind the wall over here. So it's really like quite an amazing little place. So, why did you start an Airbnb? What was the draw? Why would you want people in your house you don't even know?
Right. My son used to come to Aruba. He still does every year because he lives in Canada.
Yeah.
And since he was a child, when he got about teenage years, and he used to sleep in the big house. We used to share the bedroom, and I really felt like I needed, because I knew he was going to keep coming. I wanted to give him someplace comfortable where he could stay. He's becoming a young man, so I said, I'm going to turn this what used to be a garage into an apartment.
Oh, great idea!
And we, with a bunch of us, family and friends. We this was a garage, so we tore it down except for the foundation and all the, whatever held it together.
Yeah.
And we rebuilt it in 6 weeks. And when it was all done, I put it on Airbnb, and it was booked in 30 minutes.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I figured if my son was going to come here, maybe he wanted to bring his friends. It was a very logical thing. And maybe somebody also told me, I don't remember that very well, but I knew about Airbnb, and I figured, well, let's try it. I had no idea that I was going to get booked within 30 minutes and that it was going to be so successful.
Oh, great.
I've hosted over 100 guests from all over the world, as far as Russia, China, Chile, Buenos Aires, England, Europe, all over the world. Canadians, a lot of Canadians, Americans, yes.
So that's great. Open your door, and the world will be the path to it.
Exactly. And then once I had this, my own guests tell me what to do. Oh, I think, because this wasn't here, I think you should build a patio here. So I did. I think you should have another one over there, because next year I'm coming with my whole family and we need a place to stay. So I designed it, had somebody build it, and that one, that one came about. And that's how it grew, And there's still room for growth, but I'm, for now. And we have another one in the front, but that's for family.
Yeah.
So
that's really good. Yeah, we for us personally, this isn't an Airbnb promo, but it's quite comfortable. We have a kitchen. We rented a car from our brother. We have a car. We have the outdoor shower. We have the indoor shower. We got AC because it's quite warm here. A little patio, a barbecue, a lounge area. The families come by every couple nights. Yeah, it's been perfect. Yeah, it's been really good. So if a tourist was coming to Aruba, what would you say is the top 2 things they should do while they're here?
Oh, the 2 top things? I would say hit the beach, but don't only stay at the beach. Aruba has an amazing culture. Find out where the museums are or where the art galleries are. St. Nicholas has developed quite a bit. They made it very beautiful. We have the most beautiful murals in the main street of St. Nicholas. Really great restaurants like O'Neill's. Further up when you go towards Baby Beach, Camini's is also a really great place to eat. So when you're walking down the main street of St. Nicholas, you'll see all these beautiful murals. We had an art fair. We had 2 of them, maybe 2 or 3 years apart, where this committee of very dedicated people organized an art fair, international art fair, and they invited the best visual artists in the region and in other places, even from Eastern Europe, to come and paint those murals.
Oh, well, we saw some of them. They're amazing.
Yeah, and once they're gone, the murals stay forever.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and then the government started, sprucing up the place, did you see the benches in the main street with the mosaic? Gorgeous. So it's become like a walking gallery, almost, You can either sit on the benches that were made by artists of mosaic, or you can look at the murals, Even inside certain places, you have art, you're selling art. So it's really come a long way.
And if tourists say I'm a tourist, I'm from America or Canada or wherever, Europe, and I don't know much about Aruba, and I'm walking around looking at art, would you say that Aruba is a safe place or an unsafe place?
Very safe, very safe. people, if they notice that you look like you're lost,
Yeah.
they were a lot of times come up to you and said, "Can I help you with something?" You
Yeah.
know, or point you in the right direction. Everybody, of course, is multilingual, so they're able
Yeah, that
to
helps.
probably
Yeah.
relate to people in different languages. You know.
Yeah.
So the beaches and come here for the beaches, the culture, the people,
Yeah.
the art galleries and museums, especially in St. Nicholas. But you have, the caves are also very important. That's where the Aboriginals lived and also sometimes hid from, rival groups.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
And you can find Aboriginal, paintings, inside these caves. So yeah, there's quite a few things to discover. We have the place called Aya with the humongous rocks. It looks like a giant.
Oh yeah, we were there yesterday. Yeah.
Upon each
That's
other.
really bizarre. They're just
And
like
it's
in the
really
middle
bizarre,
of
and
nowhere.
the way they're stacked upon each
Yeah.
other, you're saying this thing's gonna fall.
Yeah.
But it's been here for just centuries,
Yeah.
and
Doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
And so, if I was going to go to eat any one place on the island, where would you recommend we go to eat?
Well, personally, I like eating by the beach with my feet in the water,
Yeah.
and we have a few restaurants here. The one that I frequent, not a lot, but every now and then, is Fishbone,
Yeah.
Flying Fishbone.
Fishbone.
The Flying Fishbone, because it's when you come in, you walk down this long path corridor,
Yeah.
I'd say, and then it opens up, and there's the ocean and the white sand and all the tables, and you can literally book a place to sit with your feet in the water, and at night it's almost magical with spotlights in the water, and the waiting is really good, and the service is really good, the food is amazing.
Full disclosure, she took us to the Flying Fishbone, and it was amazing. We did sit with our feet in the water, or just on the edge of the water, and I had, what else? Lobster bisque,
Seafood.
Ceviche, yeah.
Ceviche.
And you had the red snapper, and you
I
had the
giant shrimp.
Yeah, the dried shrimp, yeah, the prawns, whatever, yeah. And it was amazing. The ambiance was great. I wish I knew our server guy's name. You guys probably remember it, but I forget. But he was so good. He was such a thoughtful and sort of popped in and out at the right time. Yeah, it was a great place.
Right, and next to Flying Fishbone, you have Zare Over on your west.
Zare Over, yeah.
Which is also it's completely a seafood place. It's a little bit different in setup, but still nice. Then east of Fishbone, you have another one. I think they changed the name now, but it was called The Man and what's it called?
Oh yeah, we saw that place too. The Man.
Yeah, the Old Man and the Sea.
Yeah,
it's
right.
The Old Man and the Sea. I think they might have changed the name now, but it's just east of Flying Fishbone, and it's amazing. When you walk inside, around every corner you see a cozy little corner where you can sit and eat.
Yeah.
There's a grand piano in there. I don't know. Have you seen that, the grand piano?
No, we didn't see it.
Oh, it's amazing. Grand piano in there, all painted up. It's a work of art.
Yeah.
Because the owner is a renowned pianist from Aruba that's done some international, things.
Yeah, that sounds
known
amazing.
for. Yeah.
And so this month is January, and typically there would be an event on right now called Carnival, but it's not happening because we're blessed with the pandemic, which doesn't seem to be going away.
Exactly.
So if we were going to come back in January, would you recommend coming to Carnival, and what's it like?
Absolutely. Aruba has a very big carnival, not as big as Brazil, of course. I think we're the third or fourth largest in the world. It's unbelievable how many people this island can carry around carnival time. They come by the thousands from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
And there isn't a hotel that's not booked, so if you come, you have to book in advance. I had people here as well, and it's such a good time because, the carnival season starts the 11th of the 11th.
11th
November.
Oh, so it doesn't just start in January, it goes on for months.
That's my son's birthday. It's the 11th of the 11th. That's when they announce the carnival season and what's going to happen and the dates. When is the Calypso Monarch festival or competition?
Yeah.
When is the Miss Aruba Carnival competition? They have lots of competition
Goes on,
for children and for adults. When they have the best costumes, the best band, the best everything. So every weekend leading up until January, February, there is a competition. There are many places around the island where the building of the costumes begins. So you can, if you know where they are, because
Yeah.
you know they try to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
But if you know where they are, you can go and see them from months in advance, starting to build the beautiful, elaborate costumes that have wheels on them and weigh a ton, and these people just drag them with their beautiful costumes. I mean, it's incredible.
Oh my God, we need to come back.
It's incredible. And then every group that participates in the festival has their own band. It could be a steel band or a big calypso band or soca band, brass band, whatever. And you can literally stand there. If it starts at 11 o'clock in the morning, you could still be there at 6 o'clock in the evening, and not all the parade is not finished yet. Wow.
Holy!
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, sounds amazing.
On. On.
Moving carnival.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really something. Yeah. I've been to the one in Trinidad. I love what I saw, but I didn't stay till the end because that's when I appreciated Aruba's, because it's safe here.
Yeah, right. It'd be a different vibe if you can.
I went to some competition, and they had built this large stage. At one point, the thousands of people just stormed the stage, and the stage started shaking and breaking up, and people were, really drinking a lot,
Yeah.
And it's not like they don't drink here, but for some reason, it's more controlled.
Yeah.
It's really more controlled. You feel safe.
Keep that in mind for when we come back.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yeah.
So when we got here originally, we were greeted by a security guard at the front door with a newspaper in his hand. Could you explain to us who that man was?
Could that have been my father?
It was your father.
Yeah.
He was sitting in a chair like this with the paper.
Yeah. He takes his job very seriously. And he loves doing the tours, he's very, especially people who haven't been here yet, the way he does it, it's like I pay him, and it's like the reveal moment. Ta-da! And this is the bathroom. No, he loves his job. It's not a job, it's he's 95,
Yeah, 95.
Besides reading the papers and looking after dogs in the garden, he likes it. It gives him something new to do, meeting new people every time, he's still with it, and he loves a good conversation. And then you'll always hear the stories. If you give him a minute, he'll tell you the whole history of Aruba,
Yeah, it was quite funny. He showed up and he just had the paper, and he could tell he was just like keeping an eye out for something. Well, he couldn't hear us till we were right in front of his face.
Yeah, because he's hard of hearing, that's why. Yeah.
Oh, great.
So he could do a good job?
Yeah, it was great. It was perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a great introduction.
You should give him a raise.
Yeah. It was much better than a bellboy.
Yeah, he's very charming, I have to say.
Awesome.
I have 3 questions.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have some questions from the audience. Audience member, would you like to ask a few questions?
One of my questions is, what was your favorite part of Canada? Well, you lived there for 35 years. Was there one thing that you loved about Canada?
Well, I lived in Toronto. What I loved about Toronto was the multiculturalism. Literally, I met people from all over the world. Sometimes I'd walk in the streets and I hardly even heard English, depending where you were.
Yeah.
I like the diversity. The neighborhoods you can go from. I lived between the Italian, the Portuguese, and Little Italy and Little Portugal. You can go to Little Korea. You can go to Chinatown. You can go to the Vietnamese area. You go to Little India on the east side of the city. Greek, oh my gosh, Danforth, huge Greek community, lots of good restaurants. What happens is they bring their culture, they bring their food, they bring everything, and then you get involved. Before you know it, Greek cuisine, you become sophisticated because, if you're the kind of person that wants to learn,
and you love to travel.
You love to travel, and Toronto is a very, very clean city. That's what really attracted me to how the city takes care of the city. We have about 96 parks or parkettes everywhere. Yeah. The school system is very welcoming and very good, I felt really at home there. I really did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was my town. Yeah.
Okay, so one of my other questions is, you were telling us about the musical group that you were a part of, that you were the only female in that group. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I'm just going to repeat the question because the mic not pick it up.
You don't hear me.
I'll just say it again. So the audience member question, who doesn't want to be on camera, was, could you please tell us about a musical group that you were in Toronto?
No, the musical
the one that
group
was here.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. The musical group that was here, where you were the only female member, was the question from the audience member.
Okay. The group was called Kilele, and I'll back up a little bit to explain how that group came about. I had recently arrived from Canada, and my mom was having a birthday, and we were celebrating my mother's birthday right behind you in the other veranda patio over there. And of course, in our family, when there are parties, there has to be dancing. There has to be lots of food, lots of dancing, and we were in there. And when I came out, I was introduced to these three gentlemen who were going to sing for my mom and play, and they had drums. And the leader's name was Harry Zimmerman. Later on, I found out he was a well-known and celebrated king of Tumba. Tumba is our national music. And he had won so many awards in Curacao that he was not allowed to compete anymore. And then he came here, and the same thing happened here. Anyway, he came with his friends, and they had like African drums with them. And our music, of course, we have African in our background. And the slaves brought the music to the islands, to Aruba as well, Curacao, Bonaire. Anyway, they started playing that kind of music, which is called tambu.
Tambu.
Yeah. And I loved it so much. And I'm a percussionist too, but of course they didn't know that. So at the end, I asked them very politely if I could join them and if I could go get my djembe. And they said, sure, go ahead. So I ran into my bedroom, got my djembe, and I joined them. And we played and we played. And at one point, I said to them, I got more courage. I says, I can teach you guys a song that I learned when I was with the musical group. Because I played in two different percussive groups in Canada, always as the only female, right? So I said, okay, repeat after me. And I taught him the song. And it's called Kilele. And it means hello. It's a greeting, right? So, and the way they sing it, they belt it out in the way they sing it. Kilele, Kilele, awo, awo, Kilele. And then you're supposed to answer, Kilele, Kilele, awo, awo, Kilele. And then from there on, all hell breaks loose. And you go, Kilele, and everybody's clapping, Kilele, Kilele, and we dance, and let's go nuts. And
that's awesome.
The leader, Harry, thought it was so much fun. He loved it so much. He says, and then when I was finished, he says, I have an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. On this night, 19th of August, the group Kilele has been born. From now on, we shall call ourselves Kilele. And that's how the group was born.
Oh, that's a great
story. Before we knew it, we were recording. We recorded a CD. We were traveling all over the island, performing everywhere. Again, me as the only female in the group. And, it was a challenge because the guys are okay, but, they're macho guys, they're guys. And they thought, oh, this, dainty little girl, little lady's going to come and join us, But I gave them a run for their money because I could play. So before you know it, I earned their respect,
I'll be at the front. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So that's the story.
That's amazing.
Great.